Hey everybody, Peter Parks here, and welcome to this quick little video that I wanted to shoot for you guys. Today, what I wanted to talk to you today about is about building an A-player mentality within your business so that your A players will drive and fuel and fund your company, so you as the CEO or the founder of your company, part of your only requirement is to just steer the ship. Now, I've been doing this for quite a few years now, since literally 2014, 2015, and now I've been actually teaching it over the last couple of years. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to do something first, make sure it makes sense in my businesses, make sure I understand the nuances and the pitfalls that surround a particular strategy and a technique, so that I can fix it before I start to instruct others in how to do it in their businesses. So when it comes to A players, I'm going to give you my personal experience, and then I'm going to give you some real world examples outside of my personal experience so that you understand what the mindset is for A players. A players need to be incentivized, they need to be motivated, and they need to be empowered on 3 different levels, which is money, opportunity, and recognition. If you understand those 3 pillars and you understand those 3 psychological factors behind those pillars, you will be able to spot A players, you'll be able to retain those A players, and you'll be able to have those A players build your company for you, drive your company for you, i.e. driving the revenue in your company, scaling your company for you. So again, you as the CEO or the founder of your business, your only job, your only requirement is to steer the ship. So here's what this means. In my businesses, I give my people, my top people, and pretty much everybody else in the company, I give them 90% of the revenue in the business. I take 10%. Now, when it comes to the profit, the same thing applies. I give them 90% and I take 10%. I would rather have 10% of a watermelon patch that continually every year brings fruit into the business and grows the business exponentially than taking 90% of a grapefruit. Let that sink in for a second. So when it comes to A players, here's my thoughts on A players. A players will go above and beyond what they're supposed to do for you to help you build, grow, scale your business and fuel your business. So you as a CEO or the founder of your business, your only job is to steer the ship, which is what you're supposed to do. A players will self-fund themselves. A players work on performance. A players don't worry about retainers. A retainer is just a lazy way of saying I'm fucking lazy. Yes, I want you to pay me a bunch of money, or yes, I want you to pay me some money, and that may give you the right to say that you have me on retainer, but when I actually need you as the founder or the CEO of the company, you're nowhere to be found, because what you're doing is, if I need you in my business and I'm paying you a retainer, which stupidly I've done in the past and I've learned from my mistakes, all of a sudden I may need you on a Friday afternoon or a Friday early evening because my shopping cart is down and I'm losing revenue. But because I paid you on retainer and I need your help, all of a sudden now you've said to me, oh, well, wait a second, I'm actually made plans, I'm going out to dinner with my husband, or I'm going out to dinner with my wife, or I'm going out to the movies with my kids, or I have an appointment that I already made because I'm going out to relax. So I understand that you paid me a retainer, and I understand that your business is losing money, but I will get to it. Basically, a retainer is a safe way of saying, fuck you, right? Even though your business is losing, as an example, you take your wife or you take your husband out to the movies, you've spent $10, $15 per ticket, you've bought popcorn and drinks, and you're spending 3 hours or 2 hours watching a movie. So in essence, you just spent 50, 60, $70 for a night out, but I have you on retainer. So all of a sudden, my business now, and my shopping cart is down, and I've lost $30,000 in revenue, but that's okay. You're going to get to it because you're on retainer. You're going to get to it after the movies are over, or sometime during the weekend, or on Monday you'll look at it. So when I look at that as an example, and I can produce thousands of these examples, that's why I no longer put people on retainer. Yes, in certain industries, in certain specialized industries, there are some professionals that would work on retainer. But then again, even then, they're not working on an actual retainer because they're so specialized, because they have such specialized knowledge. They look at it as, I'm more valuable to the co-founder, the founder, the CEO of the business for them not to put me on retainer, because I understand that their business needs to grow, their business needs to scale, and I can be a part of that. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. John Paul Tudor Jones pays Tony Robbins $1 million a year, quote unquote, to be on retainer. But John Paul Tudor Jones, one of the smartest men in the world, on the face of the planet, understands that the value that Tony Robbins provides to him is worth more than $1 million. So John Paul Tudor Jones not only pays Tony Robbins $1 million, which is chicken feed to Tony Robbins, John Paul Tudor Jones incentivizes, motivates, and inspires Tony Robbins to give him 10x more. So John Paul Tudor Jones actually gives Tony Robbins incentives. He gives him asset streams. He gives him bonuses. He gives him performances for what Tony Robbins does for John Paul Tudor Jones. So at the end of the day, Tony Robbins understands that the $1 million that John Paul Tudor Jones pays me is nothing in comparison. That's chicken feed. He gets 10 times X back from what John Paul Tudor Jones pays him in regards to everything else around that quote unquote retainer. So if John Paul Tudor Jones needs Tony Robbins at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Friday morning, Tony Robbins is there for John Paul Tudor Jones. Tony Robbins doesn't say to John Paul Tudor Jones, well, guess what? I'll deal with you next weekend, John Paul Tudor Jones. That's an A player. That's the A player mentality that I'm talking about. Again, let me give you another example. Sir Richard Branson literally admits he still, to this day, sometimes gets confused with gross profit, gross margin, gross revenue, actual profit, right? There was a point in time where Sir Richard Branson's people had to take him to a fishing boat, and they had to show him a big net full of fish and explain to him what gross profit is, gross margin, gross revenue, pure profit, all that kind of stuff, right? But Sir Richard Branson realized early on that he actually doesn't need to know any of that stuff. He knows to know a little bit about it, but he understood what's more important is for him to go out and to find A players. He went out and acquired A players by money, opportunity, recognition, inspiring, motivating, and compelling his people to share his vision, to push his vision out there so that those people, those A players, build, grow, scale, and optimize his entire businesses for him. So him as the visionary, all he has to do is think about the marketing, think about the inspiring the market into the niches that he needs to get into. That's what A players do. A players are like that. A players will do that for you. They will sacrifice for you when it comes time for them to do it, even though it may not be in their best interest or it may not be convenient for them. They understand because they're A players, they're going above and beyond that level. You want another example? Let me give you another example. Elon Musk. You see, Elon Musk is not able to be running and managing and growing and building 3 deca-billion-dollar per year businesses. You think Elon Musk is doing that all by himself? Elon Musk realized and is smart enough to understand that he needs to go out, seek out, and acquire A players to put into his businesses for him so that he can share his vision with them, so that now their job, their requirement is to build, grow, optimize, and scale incrementally Elon Musk's businesses, all his businesses. That is the A player mentality. That's what you need to look out for when you are an A player. And that is what I'm explaining to you today and teaching you today about A players. So when it comes to someone telling you that they want to work on retainer, and here's the thing for you. One of my mentors, Khan Mirza, a lot of you know him, he flew down to one of my mastermind events a year ago when I held it halfway around the world. And we had talked about A players. We had talked about the A player mentality with my mastermind guys. And Khan said, which was really funny, but I understood why he said it, and I know why he said it. He told my group that basically a lot of the top tier players that run his businesses, that run his companies for him, they all work on performance. Not one of them takes a salary. He doesn't pay his people salary. You want to know why he doesn't pay his people salary? Because he understands money, opportunity, recognition. He understands that you need to empower. He needs to understand you need to motivate, and he understands you need to inspire people with those pillars. So that's why his companies do $3 billion plus a year in revenue. It's not the Khan that drives the business. His A players drive the business. So in regards to A players, this is what you need to understand. When somebody tells you that they want to work on retainer, or they want to get a fat retainer because they want, that's what they pay, that's what they want, understand something, that's just their way of saying that they're fucking lazy. They want to get paid for nothing, for doing very little work, and when you really need them, they have the right to say to you, I'm going out to dinner with my significant other. I'm going out with my kids to eat ice cream. I'll get to it when I get to it, or I'll get to it over the weekend or next week Monday. That, in my opinion, is not an A player. And yes, there's going to be some hot, heavy debate about it, but if you really listen to what I'm talking to you about and what I'm sharing with you today, you'll understand why I incentivize, I motivate, and I inspire my people with money, opportunity, and recognition to find A players to bring into the businesses so that the A players can fuel, drive, and scale your businesses for you. So you as the CEO or the founder of your business, your only job, your only requirement is just to steer the ship, okay? So that's what it means to be an A player. That is the A player mentality. I'm giving you a little insight to the way I think and to the way founders and co-founders and CEOs of very profitable businesses understand the need for A players, not B players, not C players, and definitely not D players. You want A players in your business. Now, again, I need you to actually look at this video, watch the video probably 1 or 2 times so that you understand the significance when you're going out to look for A players in your business, to bring them into your company culture and to let them grow your businesses for you while you take a giant step back and give away 90% of your business or 80% of your business. I do 90% because for me, like I said, I would rather have 10% of a growing watermelon patch that year in, year out, over time incrementally grows and bears fruit and brings back revenue into my business so that I don't have to fight and drive the business so my A players can do that, versus me taking 90% of the grapefruit and that's it. That's the difference of the mentality of looking at and hiring A players. I wanted to take this video, I wanted to take the time to shoot this video with you today because as you see, I'm outside relaxing. I've got now 3 membership sites that are running actively on their own, that are growing every day in revenue because I instituted what I'm teaching you right now, what I'm talking to you about, which is A players. I don't have very many issues. The issues that I have are higher level issues that I need to deal with on myself, but everything else, my A players are taking part of it. And even the issues that I do have in my business right now, I'm actually sliding it over to my A players because I'm empowering them to make decisions. I'm motivating them to make decisions. I'm inspiring them to make decisions. So it makes me make less decisions in the business. My only requirement now is to inspire the market with my higher level thinking. My only requirement now is to influence the market now with my products and my services to let them understand I know what I'm doing and I can help you, which is what I'm doing because I have thousands of case studies now in regards to all of this thing that I'm talking to you about today. So That being said, I hope you enjoyed this very valuable video. Leave some comments below. You're going to see this somewhere on the left or right or wherever. Definitely want to hear your feedback. I'll probably respond to everybody here, because you want to know why. I have time to do that because I have A players in my business now that are driving, fueling, and scaling the businesses for me, so I don't have to be in the business. That being said, I'll see you in the profit zone. Take care, everybody.